I don't know. I'm gonna put it up, see if it shows up again. I can't find the one that we just had. It's there. I can't.
Yeah, lately it's been taking forever for them to download, like a day or two before they show up.
Well, that's what we got going on then. Okay, this might come up. I'm not sure. It didn't work like this before, but
All right. Well, I'm gonna
let's
open
see.
up.
We are up, I think.
Are we live? I see it
I
coming back up.
normally we're not live at this point, but now I think we are. Let's see.
Good
Connection
morning, everybody.
started. No, well, we don't have
It's-
anybody here yet. I think they're still
okay.
trying to find us. Hold on. That's what I'm trying to change. We had one person come on here. Let me see if I can find us a link and do this.
See, it even got. It started the video beforehand. If you look at what's on YouTube.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Usually I had to hit, go live after we were up, and I don't have to do that. So we're up. We have 8 people on.
Okay, I'm on the wrong channel then. Hold on.
Yeah,
So,
I had to start a new link, and I think
all
people are
right,
finding it. We're seeing them
all
come in.
right. So people are seeing us. Am I live, people? Do you
You
guys
are.
hear?
Yes, you are live.
Oh, hi. Hello, everyone. Let me get on. I want to see what we're talking about. Wow, this is exciting.
YouTube updated, so we're having some fun this morning.
Rambling with the dog. Okay, so it's. I'm just going to go with the one that says live, and
YouTube updated, so
there we go. I've got it.
okay.
Oh, there's a delay.
Yeah.
I can say something again. We can hear everything you say. Well, that's nice. I hope that I was talking about appropriate things. Did you hear what I was saying about Betty? All right, I've got this up so I can actually see what you guys are doing. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Marty. Robert, yes, and you are live. Good morning again, Sue. Jackie, good morning. Had you liked the whiteboard? I was wondering who got me the whiteboard markers. Thank you. And you know what? The whiteboard's in the other room. I'm going to need that and the markers are in there.
Yep.
So was that you, Jackie? Thank you. They just appeared and I was talking about that. I'm like, somebody realized that we're not able to do whiteboard on the show. And so I thought that was amazing and greatly appreciated. I you can see you guys got us. We were this morning sitting there talking a little bit about the show, and then all of a sudden I go to pull it up, and I'm like, we're live. So as always, this is an interesting from James. The book of James isn't that challenging, but today James 1:14 says, "But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed." So, yeah, I guess we are tempted when we are going with what we feel on the. Thank you very much, Annie. So, I got to open these online. Look at these. You guys see these whiteboard dry erase markers with a magnet? And so this is incredible. Look at this, brand new. They just magically appeared. This weekend, I was there, and let's see if oh, look at that. And it sticks, people. Look at that. Wow. It's like Pooh Bear putting a balloon inside of a jar. Wow. So thank you. If that was you, Jackie, I appreciate that. I think that's amazing that you guys actually pay attention and do those things for me. I really appreciated it. So let's see. The first try was interesting hearing you discuss YouTube. Yes, we were sitting there looking at YouTube and seeing that for some reason we get cut off, and we're like, wow. When we did Betty and um, Paul Braddock, we got up to almost 300 people. People, these shows, if you go back and look at old shows, we were having 3,000 followers. And so we're sometimes only getting 30, 40 people. And then over the week, we get about 150 people watching the show, which blows my mind, because of the people and the comments that we get and stuff like that. And so it's interesting. We're just trying to figure out how do we beat this system. And at one time we even opened up another YouTube channel, but immediately it turned around and because it was tagged to me, had the exact same restrictions on it. So like, let's can this idea. So just lurking today. Hi, Prophet Bear. I'm at work with my new favorite verse is Matthew 22:34 to 40. You got to tell me which one that is. I thought Matthew 20. Well, I'll go back on that. You're so funny. I am not. Good morning, Betty. So we sit here and talk about what to do, and I have this person who puts a fire to my butt, Annie, and we turn around, and I sit and look like, what am I going to do? And I have to get guidance, and like I got to move forward. I'm trying to put stuff together for you guys and all this other stuff, and this one person, Annie, just sits there and holds me to it to keep moving forward, and it's really, sometimes I just want to relax, and then this person, Annie, just does this thing where I like, Doc, we need this information. So we've been working on ranges. And so some of the things that we're trying to accomplish is with the book is to have cheat sheets, to have little, like you guys see the thumbnails that Annie's been working on with regards to understanding the bricks, the symptoms that are associated with bricks, understanding conductivity, the symptoms that are associated with it, to help people to understand that, hey, if you have an imbalance within a particular variable of the equation that's furthest away and being your weakest link, then these are the symptoms that can be present with it. So that's number one. And number two is, what are the ranges? So we've been working on the ranges and explaining that, when you're falling in a particular range, particularly like say you do bricks range, that you have more available oxygen, you have optimal oxygen, or you have decreased available oxygen, just to kind of put it into perspective. And I'm going to get a drink here. So the latest thing is I've been trying to do is like looking at ranges, and when you look at the ranges, A is ideal. And when you look at the true A range that Reams listed was originally was perfect, and that's unrealistic because I've never seen anybody get to perfect. I've seen somebody get to super, all the numbers perfect, except they were instead of 3/3, they were 6/3, and so they were turning around, and that was the nitrates are the last thing to correct when you're looking at this, and so what you find is that, well, that's unrealistic. I mean, how many of you are perfect? Nobody commented. Okay. So I'll take it that you assume that you're humbly enough agreeing that none of us are. However, isn't it good to know that perfect is in you? I mean, to know that the God of this universe is omnipotent and omniscient, meaning that he's anywhere and knows all. I mean, anywhere and everywhere. That means, oh my God, he's in there. Ha ha. Yeah. And so if you have the God of the universe in you, and there is an ideal, it's in you, but is it really something that's possible to achieve? How many of us have our little OCD tendencies, and how many of us find that we strive for perfection in certain things, and only to find frustration when we don't achieve it? And so what you got to look at with these numbers is a working range, is something that says, hey, what happens when I get my chemistry into this working range? And you tend to see certain healing and benefits to occur when that happens, and that's where, I'm trying to turn around, and whereas the primary book is basically done, and Annie, I mentioned her name, is holding me to application, is holding me to, Doc, okay, you can't just go and explain all this to people. You got to give them something that's functional that they can take home and say, what's the cookbook? How do I, and believe me, we got a cookbook working too. But how do I turn around and apply this? How do I turn around and make this something that's real? How do I turn around and experience this and find that there's true wisdom in it? And so that's where I've been doing these little things, and as small as they may seem, where it might be one page that describes things, that one page takes me a while to really, like, how do I want to say this? How do I make sure it's consistent? How do I make sure that it's that it communicates what it needs to communicate in a picture or an explanation to so that you can follow along. And those of you who really want to learn more, dive into Badeau's work, sign up with Michael Olsta, go through these training programs. But you got to realize, I'm not knocking any other person who teaches RBTI, but I'm an observationist. I am a clinician per se, and I look at those numbers to tell me the picture of what's going on and where and how things are happening. And so if you've been doing RBTI and you're following your numbers and they're not changing and you keep doing the same thing, well, there's kind of a definition for doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And Diana will probably respond to that because her husband says it every single time. It's you don't turn around and do one thing and expect another. Especially if you do one thing and do one thing and do one thing and do one thing, and the numbers keep staying out of whack. The numbers are telling you something. The numbers are not saying just take more calcium. The numbers are not saying just take more vitamin C. The numbers are not just saying take more of this. I don't ever recall reading anything where Reams talked about when the numbers don't move to take more of some particular supplement. And that's what drives me crazy about Betty's forum. Betty, I'm going to, people get stuck on one variable and they're like, my bricks won't move or blah, blah, blah. And they have no clue that they go back and look at those nitrates and they're 1/12. And it's like, no wonder your bricks won't move. You're putrefying everything in your digestive tract. You're not pulling anything in, your body's not efficient in what it's doing. And you don't just try to control your sugars, although sugar regulation is what's going to make everything else start moving because the available oxygen and available energy, and then pH, urine pH. And so when I'm looking at the ranges even, and so Dr. Reams explains, Betty, what page? We're on 86 of your dad's book. It's somewhere in there. I remember looking at it the other day. There's he explains the ranges, and when he explains the ranges, he basically turns around and talks about energy efficiency within these ranges and how things slow down. And so what happens, and if you look and go through Betty's program, and she teaches the aspects of the ranges, that your bile gets weaker and weaker from range A to range B to range C to range D to range E. And range D and E are on the acid level, and range B and C are on the alkaline level. And range C is you're the furthest away from range A with regards to pH in reality, because you get super alkaline, things slow down, and you just start auto-intoxicating. Who ever looks at it from a standpoint of auto-intoxication other than me? My bowels aren't moving. I'm not cleaning out. And you turn around and you look at somebody who's in the C range. Hey, I've got a perfect 1.5 bricks. My pH is 7.4 over 7.0. And so particularly that urine pH. So the one thing where I differ is Dr. Reams explained energy efficiency with ranges. Okay, so think about that. Energy efficiency, that if one of those variables is out, then the maximal amount of energy that you can get is X. So when you are turning around and you're in range A, which we call the healing range, which now we have a range for it, so as we go through here, where's a pen? Pen. Oh, right here. I love it. So I got Annie cracking up at least. So look, when you're looking at range A, you're looking at, here's a bricks of 1.5 is perfect. Okay. So how about we say let's make it big enough so people can eat. Fine point markers too. Wow. 1.5 to 2.0. That's a nice range, right? And so why? Because if you go below, the lower you go on your bricks, the less available oxygen there is. The higher you go, it starts displacing the sugars start displacing the oxygen, and so therefore it's not available. Now I can use these. You can't see it. You guys can't see that? Oh my! Well, that's not fun. but I do have a nifty eraser. All right. Fine tip. I like the fine tip. Okay. 1.5 to 2.0.
There you go.
So you're looking at the aspects of a range on the, again, when you're finding healing range, and this is range A when we're looking at the healing range. pH is 6.4 over 6.4. How about 6.3 to 6.6 over 6.3 to 6.6? So when you're looking at this, if you go too low, things are going too fast and you don't extract your nutrients out of your digestive tract. If you go, particularly if you're looking at the urine pH, because that really dictates. Whereas Betty, your dad said that if any one of these numbers falls in a particular range, then you're in that range for energy efficiency. But from a practical standpoint, if you're in range D because you're at a sugar of 0.9 and then all your other numbers are perfect, does that mean that you're going to turn around and just only eat BC or DE or, in a E range foods? Because what's going to happen? Your pHs are going to go up. So you choose the urine pH for what to eat, and you choose the bricks for what to drink. Because how you change your sugar value is based upon what you're drinking or eating the wrong foods. You eat the wrong food, boom, that's going to spike up 5.49 or higher. Or you eat the wrong carbohydrate source, potatoes, popcorn, maybe it's your chips and salsa, maybe it's that chocolate, maybe it's who knows, maybe it's just your M&Ms, and then that sugar causes your pancreas to oversecrete insulin, and what happens is that's going to bottom out. So that bricks is telling you whether you're eating foods that your body can tolerate or not, as well as, am I drinking enough water? So 6.3 to 6.6 is the healing range for the pHs. 6.5 to 10 is really ideal for the conductivity. You go higher, once you get above 10, you start seeing cholesterol deposits. You'll see it in the live blood microscopy. You can see cholesterol appearing. You start seeing nervous system nervousness. You start numbness, tingling. How many of you older ladies cough, sneeze, and lose a little bit of urine? When you do that, you've got high conductivity, is usually the case, because you start breaking down the smooth muscle. You start irritating the nerves, losing lack of control, those type of things. Guys dribble too, by the way. And so then we turn around and look at the cell debris. Well, cell debris, what if we say that 4 million particles is the healing range? Well, wait a minute. 40,000 particles versus 4 million being healing? How can you say such a thing? Shouldn't it be a 1M or a 3M, 1 million particles? In reality, I could turn around and say that it's somewhere between 2 and 4 million, But if you start increasing your energy efficiency on the front half of this equation, where you're looking at the bricks, the pHs, and that conductivity right here, this is energy in aspects. Then energy out, which considers the conductivity, the cell debris, and the nitrates, you got to start detoxing. It's just part of the process. And we are near completion of these bucket pictures that kind of explain this thing, that that person that calls me to put things together, Annie, just does these things. Says, hey, Doc, you got to give descriptions here. And so, and I have been giving some descriptions, but they tend to be long-winded. Can you guys imagine me saying something in too many words? So 4M basically says that if you improve efficiency, guess what? Your body has to be able to get rid of the waste. Because as these start honing in, that will go down. But the last things that go down is the detox side, is the conductivity, the cell debris, and the nitrates. So with the nitrates, Ream says a healing nitrates is when they add up to 15 to 19. So how many of you would like to have 3/12? Is that healing? Hell no. Because this is cell destruction. This is not digesting. This is falling apart. This is putrefaction in your digestive tract, and where you're actually turning around and overgrowing stuff. Nice bugs, because they outnumber you 10 to 1. So when you're looking at the healing range, we want them to be 15 to 19, but in reality, you want 10 to 12 over about 5 to 7. In reality, I like to see this no higher than a 6. I like to see 5 to 6, and you like to see that about 10 to 12. You start getting 13, 14. Those are people who are juicing, people who are just massively eating greens. Not necessarily a bad thing, as long as the nitrates their body is processing those foods. I'm okay with that. And you will see people come in with 14 over 5, and that's fine. That's still healing. That's 15 to 19. That's still healing, because when people are really eating high amount of vegetables, yes, this will push you up to 14, and this will stay down if they're processing and digesting them. So this is waste. But from a healing perspective, this is what you're looking at. You got to get in these ranges until when we look at the backside of this equation, the salts, the cell debris, and the nitrates, here you have energy out. And here on this front side, you have energy in. So you have to start thinking of these numbers in a different context. You can't look at one number and say, wow, my pH just won't move. It's staying at 7.2. Well, you probably have sinus issues. You might have mold exposure. You possibly have parasites. There's a lot of things that could play a role. You have to ask why. I had a client who was working with another great RBTI practitioner for a couple years. And when that practitioner actually passed away, they found me, and then they sent me their numbers. I'm like, can you give me your numbers for like the last year? And she did. And I'm like, this is the exact same pattern. Have you ever changed anything? Like, no, we've just adjusted taking this amount of calcium lactate or vitamin C, because they had a urine pH of 7.14. Okay. And so one thing that I find is that when that urine pH is 7.14 to 7.16, for some reason, I find teeth issues. I don't know why, but every time I see somebody's pH, I don't care which pH it is, they will change. But when I see 7.14 to 7.16, for some reason, there's something going on with the teeth. And if you see 6.1, it's a bladder. Why? I don't know. Just every time I see it, urinary tract infections, incontinence, who knows? I don't know why. I haven't found anything in the book that says that, but every time I see that, I do. This lady was amazing. I turned around and said, you know what, this is weird to say, but if I had to ask, and her nitrates were like, the top number was higher, pointed to the right side of the body. And I said, if I had to guess, your numbers haven't changed. I would bet that you have something on the right side of in your jaw, in your tooth going on. She's like, okay. The following month, we followed up with her, and her numbers were perfect. And she told me a story of how her dentist and all of her friends thought that she was crazy, that some guy that was a few hundred miles away, because she lived in Louisiana, that turned around and said, based upon some urine value, that you needed to go get your teeth checked. And she had a bridge on the right side that had been there for years, and the bridge was broken. She got the bridge repaired. Her dentist couldn't fathom why or how we knew, repaired the bridge, and her numbers fell into the healing range. So she was working with the right set, but the numbers were screaming for over a year that you got an issue right here. there are things we don't understand about these numbers. And so, and somehow, it's observation based. We have to turn around and piece all this thing together because I can't do the math that Dr. Reams did that turns around and geometrically points exactly where in the body something is going on and how bad it is. I mean, you guys heard the stories from Paul Braddock. Hey, you have a tumor right here. That's going to be gone in 17 days if you'll do this. Oh my God. I wish I could tell somebody that. It's amazing. Let me see what we got here. What do you guys think? Annie, I should have you just turn around and start reading these things out instead of me taking breaks and doing this. But let's see. Betty, Leah, good morning, good morning, good morning. When will we be able to purchase a workbook of cheat sheets? Got to come to the retreats for those. Can't wait for a cookbook. That's not my forum. That's a forum I've been trying to rescue for years. Oh, okay. Yeah, Betty, that drives me crazy when people turn around and they do talk about one number and got to move that one number. And I think I've chimed in even on yours in the past. Like, you give me a full set of numbers and with an age and a date, an age and a weight, and then I'll talk to you. And in reality, I would like to know what you're taking, because people, if you turn around and give a full set of numbers and you're taking, Mincol, Cal-lactate, vitamin C, vitamin D, selenium, zinc, B complex vitamins, those things influence the numbers. And so B vitamins will drive up the salts if you're taking the wrong ones. I've heard RBTI practitioners that promote doing opposing calciums. Well, you need all the calciums, so just take more of the one that's going to push you in the right direction and less of the one that pushes you in the wrong direction, because you need that anyway. It's not the way I look at it. It's not about taking a pill. The greatest commandment, 37, Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment by all means. Amen to that. It is. And the next part is love your neighbor as yourself. People, we just need love in this world is what it comes down to. Mishimbe Bay. Wow, that sounds like a nice place. A question. Can papaya push down the urea? Yeah. Dolomitic. Anything that has the magnesium in it, and dolomite has magnesium in it, will push down the ureas. But oh my God, I rarely use dolomite. And the reason is dolomite is highly acid forming. It will push down your pHs too. And most of the time that I have people who need magnesium because of the high ureas, they're usually acidic. They're usually in the DE range for their pHs. And you throw dolomite on that, you're gonna be like, I can't get the pHs up. I can't get the pHs up. But the nitrates are going down. It's I'm really careful with dolomite use. Let me see. Oh, bummer. Darn fine tips. I like them still. Profit Bear. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Amen. Amen. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And they should. If we would just treat people the way that we want to be treated, how much of this world crap that we're dealing with would disappear? Let's have Annie comment to that.
Oh, sorry.
No comments, Annie.
I guess not.
There we go. Betty, smile. Bianca Cruz. Hi, Doc Misak. Wow, that's a nice hi. Jackie, Prophet Bear, thanks for sharing. I have already been reading it. Good. Betty, thank you, Prophet Bear. I teach those 2 verses in my classes. If you don't keep those commandments, you can't have anything perfect. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do have people come in and you see the pattern not changing. And sometimes you just have to say, what are you holding on to? Particularly if they're in the BC range. When that chemistry is slowing down, and their inability to detoxify, and they're auto intoxicating because they're too sluggish. It's like their body, their chemistry is like slowing down to hold on to something, and so are you festering? Are you holding on to some type of negative emotion that you just can't let go of? Dr. Reams had stories about that. He's like, okay, who do you need to forgive? You got to change that mental perspective. It also says I think in that's in Mark, I believe. But if you want that mountain to move, you have to tell it to move. And then God talks about positive thinking in the book of Timothy. Think about what's pure, right, and holy, and good, and things like that. So you have life or death in the tongue. What are you speaking out? But the ultimate aspect, what does the Bible sum up? If you turn around and say, well, love God above all things and love your neighbor as yourself, it's that simple. But what's the whole story of Christ about? Is it forgiveness? It really is. But there's a basis of communication in there. It's forgiveness and acceptance of one another. It is. It's just this aspect of releasing, and the more resentment that you hold in about that, that whoever it may be, that ex-spouse or that that in-law or that cousin or that used to be best friend, the more resentment that you hold in, or that bully, who's winning? That lack of forgiveness, who's it eating up? You know whose numbers it's going to affect? Think about that. Let me see what else we have here. Linda Thornton, thank you, Doc, for showing these finer points of the relationship between the numbers. I get discouraged that my urine pH is always 5.1 to 5.7. Saliva pH is always fine. Diet is very clean, but no improvement. Yeah, that's a difficult, when you're looking at a 5.1 to 5.7, you're looking at usually a hormonal issue. You're looking at something going on. You're drawing calcium from the lower part of your body. So, if you're at an age where you're turning around and potential for osteoporosis is like you're not getting enough energy and you're drawing that energy from the bones, so you're depleting calciums. And so you're going to learn from the old RBTI teachers that you're calcium depleting. Number two is you need those calcium forms that raise the pH. Let's talk about, I like calcium gluconate, although it's neutral. I do find that it raises the pH. You're going to see gluconate. You're going to see citrates, even, that hydroxyapatite, that bone-based calcium. I've seen that work with people really well. But I think that's a calcium phosphate base because it's old bone. Calcium chloride or calcium carbonate, which is also found in coral calcium. I've seen coral calcium raise pH. The problem is most coral calcium comes from where? Anybody want to guess? What do you think, Annie?
I'm not sure.
It comes from Japan. Why would you not want coral calcium from Japan? Who's got that answer?
Fukushima, or whatever it is.
Fukushima.
There you go.
Go look up, go Google Fukushima radiation map. It's still putting out radiation, people.
I thought that they said it had touched the Pacific, like on our side,
Oh, it has.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the patterns, and that's where California, people in California are getting exposure to radiation, low amounts. So they should be taking iodine. All of you should be on Algazim, and a little bit of selenium, by the way. Let me see what else we got here. But when you're looking, Linda, at that pH of 5.1 to 5.7, yes, you should be on vitamin D, and you're probably go do a vitamin D level. And even if you're taking like 10,000 units a day, you might find out, well, my vitamin D is at 35. It's normal. It's above normal. Yeah, but your vitamin D level should probably be about 75 to 90. And I've had people take 15, 20,000 units of vitamin D a day for near a year and still only have a vitamin D level of 60. And so it doesn't just fat soluble deposit and make you test high numbers as far as in your blood. Your body's using it. So, there's a reason for that. And also, you can, if one calcium's not working, what if you have a tricalcium phosphate deficiency? What if you have calcium citrate deficiency? What if you have a calcium carbonate deficiency? What if you have a calcium oxide deficiency? So change your foods. Look, I had a guy who was running his numbers. He bought a kit and was running his numbers for over 3 months before he first started to, based on what he learned off the shows when I was way back on Patriot Soapbox. And he turned around, and in that 3 months, he lost weight. His sleep patterns improved. His gout went away. His arthritic pains were going away. All of these positive changes. And what he found by just eating and going down that B or that DE range list and experimenting with different foods is that when he took dry beans, soaked them, and had like a cup a day, that his pHs went up to normal for the next day. For some reason, the beans worked incredible for the guy. So he always has a little bit of every night soaks a little bit of dry beans, and then he has some each day. So that's using the numbers to decide what your body needs. Why did he need dry beans? I don't know. Calcium oxide, maybe a better source of it. Maybe a little bit of protein. I don't know. I'm not Reams. All I know is that he objectively watched his numbers, used it as a system of measurement, found the food that worked for him, and he's since had all these incredible issues improve and go away in his body. Let me see. Oh my God, Jackie, yes, your garden looks wonderful. I'm assuming you're doing high bricks by looking at that. And you got to look at the pictures that Jackie sent.
I'm excited.
It is gorgeous. Good job.
I'm going to get on board this fall and have my bricks gardening finally. So,
Jackie, did you do high bricks before, or is it since you did high bricks that you're getting? I mean, oh my God, people, you should see Jackie's garden. I think we should just go to her house and have a smorgasbord.
It's a retreat center.
Yep. I gotta go, folks. Family emergency. Oh, thank you, Betty. Everybody pray that whatever's going on with Betty's family as well. I hope it's not Polly. Hope he's doing okay. I'm amazed by all this. I'll be listening again and taking copious notes. Thank you. I enjoy my 14 bricks papaya and have low ureas. Yeah, that's too low. If you have ureas at 7/3, you're going to have potassium deficiency, and so you need to eat avocados or some type of potassium-rich food. Even potatoes are potassium-rich, depending on what other you could tolerate some potatoes. You could turn around. I have people who find that potatoes help them regulate their sugars. Amazingly enough, but again, go by the numbers. But when you're having 7/3, take some potassium, get some potassium citrate, get those up a little bit, because those low nitrates are going to affect your brain. You're gonna be forgetful. You're gonna see. You're just not. That's a good 7/3 says that your body's processing things effectively, but you're not gonna build your cells the way that you need to. Let's see. I said I would have numbers this week. I'm still working on it. I managed to get saliva pH of 6.1, so you're B12 deficient. I've been busy with the garden, the most beautiful tomatoes I have ever raised. That's awesome. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Oh my God. Diana, you are wise. That is so true. Did you hear that, Annie?
I did.
Wow. Bianca, thank you for educating us about taking care of the body and how to do it. Jackie would love to see the pics of Jackie's garden. Don't forget the blue thumbs up. Yes, Marty, thank you. Those blue thumbs up, people, everybody should please just go hit. We should have 39 thumbs up right now. and we have 39 in the chat. And so those thumbs up just let them know that we're, that you are approving of this. The other thing that you need to do is in your YouTube settings, you need to go into your notifications that whenever I am on, that you are notified. We have people who have said that they have marked to be notified under the settings of my channel, and they're still not getting the notifications that I'm going on. So if I pop in on a Wednesday and do a product review, which I haven't done in a while, but I want to go back and do that periodically, that you'll actually get notified that, hey, Doc Misak's going on. And so for some reason, that's not working. The other thing that's not working is sharing. I have had people tell me that my link won't work, that they share and the people won't open and there's nothing there. This is screwy, people. I don't understand it. All I can do is sit there and say, that let's hope and pray that what is going down with Zuckerberg and all the antitrust laws that's going before Congress that you don't even hear about going on right now, but it is, that the antitrust laws turn around and hold up and these monopolies of social media get shut down and the censorship of our First Amendment is given back to us, because it really sucks that the few control what the many will hear, and that is not right. It should be an open market, and if there is a forum out there that we can do, that I can turn around and go on, that does not get censored, then tell me and let's do it, and then let's get the word out. The problem is a lot of these other forums that people don't know about. I need to look in MeWe. I was told that MeWe is another one to consider. And there's so anyway, so let me see here. What else we got? Zoltan. Radiation at the beach 100 times higher than normal, but they dropped nuclear waste 30 miles out to sea since the 50s off of San Francisco is normal here. Yeah, I mean, all you got to do, Zoltan, is look at the the Fukushima radiation map, and you'll see where Fukushima, where they show how it's gone out the Pacific Ocean and move its way across, and it's hitting right where the California coast and whatever. The other thing is I don't know if it's to go look at migratory, where dolphins and whales and things like that have been appearing where they normally historically would not have been over the last 8 to 10 years. They've changed migratory pathways. The best is Revelations. In Revelations, it says that 1/3 of the oceans will die. People, that's happening. That is starting to happen now with what's going on out there. So it's really screwy that we are not even told how this stuff is happening and how what's changing, and eating fish from those particular things, and whether you're actually getting irradiated things going on. So let me see here. My wife's number is 52-year-old female, 65 kilos, 158 centimeters. Convert that to pounds. 65 kilos. What is that? 140 pounds roughly. 158 centimeters. What is that? I don't know. 2.54 into 158. But 1.67. Let's write that down. All right, let's do it. Woohoo! I've got a challenge. Let me write these down. Where did all these magic markers appear from? Wow, it's a female. Let's do it. No, purple's already there. I'm going to go with green. I'm feeling green with envy today. All right, so we have a 52. I can't see the green. Let's do blue. 52-year-old female. Somebody needs to do a conversion, what that height is.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's 2.54 centimeters per and 2.2 kilos per pound. And then we have 1.6, 7.4 over 6.4.
143 pounds.
143 pounds. And how tall?
I'm not sure. Hold on.
Yeah, and then 158 divided by 2.54.
Wait, one more time. Oh my gosh.
Um, I don't see a conductivity value. Must be that 20. 20C, 4M. Is that 3/3?
Sorry. Yes, 3/3.
Okay, this person is really having a brain issue. And so we're looking here, 5'1".
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so all right. So when you're looking here, you have somebody 52-year-old, 5'1", 143 pounds. In reality, ideal body weight for 5'1" is probably about 115 to 120. You know, if you're looking at that age, and so a little bit overweight for the height, and so, but what do you see? Whenever you see high pH and low nitrates, first thing you see is a thyroid issue. You know, so anywhere I see, and this is supposed to be a 4 because my writing is so crappy. Um, 6.4. And so what do we see? Which variable is the furthest away from ideal? What are you laughing at, Annie?
It's like not a better 4 at all. It's fine.
Well, we can make them. We can do the old-fashioned way.
There
How's that?
Right on.
All right. So,
funny.
but when you're looking at, you know, what variables are the most out? So look at that sugar to salt ratio, 1.6 to 20. What is that? You know, so that's more than a 1 to 10 ratio. Get rid of the sea salt. Oh my God, the amount of anxiety, the nervousness, the breakdown, the issue that you're going to have with numbness, tingling, and it's going to be high up. 7.4 is pointing up to these sinuses. More likely, you know, this person has something going on with their brain, I think.
Conductivity.
You know, I don't know.
Conductivity 10.7.
Whenever you get a pH, go ahead.
Conductivity 10.7.
Oh, 10.7. I thought it said, okay, good. Is everything else the same?
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So 1.6 to 10.7. So you're still at about a 1 to 8 ratio, right? Is that right? 1 to 6, 1 to 7. So Himalayan, pink salt, whatever. You're getting salt in somewhere that you shouldn't be. So you're still going to see a little bit of a nervousness there. But the biggest thing here, what's jumping out is this. Okay. Why is that pH so high when this one's ideal? And why are these nitrates? Why are you not building protein? Why are you so potassium deficient? And what's this pointing towards? The higher the pH, the higher in the body where it's pointing to. When you get to 7.14 to 7.16, you're talking to teeth. 7.4, this is getting near the brain or eyes, ears, something up high. But when you're talking serious potassium deficiency, when these are adding less than 12, I'm guessing this person has a brain issue. I don't even know if they've had a stroke or not, but if they did, it doesn't point to the side. But you've got something going on up high, way up here, whether it be in the sinuses, whether it be, and things are way too sluggish. So this person's having bowel movements, possibly each day because they're trying to transport things with their bile, but they're not moving what they're supposed to in 12 to 18 hours. This person needs colonics. And where these nitrates are down, they're severely potassium deficient. So when you see high pHs, anything above, say, 6.7 to 7.4 roughly, you know, and potassium deficiency, there's a thyroid disorder. What happens with thyroid disorders? You know, you're going to see the aspects of not being able to lose weight. Well, they're 5'1" and they're 143 pounds. So there's definitely a thyroid problem going on here. And so there's a metabolic issue. When the further the separation of the pHs, they're going to have adrenal stress. So this person's, you know, although they have a Brix of 1.6. Hey, they should have great energy, man. They're right in that healing range, 1.5 at 2.0. They're rocking on the available oxygen, and their bile, their liver strength is handling it, but they're not transporting what they're putting in their diet into buildable protein. They're not building their cells. I'm surprised that they only have a 4M, that it's not pluses after that. So this is sluggishness. This is extreme sluggishness in the system. Sinus, brain with the potassium deficiency, something going on that. This person, you need potassium, and so you're in the BC range foods. So the problem is like I tell you to eat avocados, but the fat in the avocados, this person needs a fatty meal, and they're going to be like bloated. I feel like crud. Your belly's going to blow out and feel like because you're not, fully. This is odd because when you turn around and you run a set of numbers, the last set of numbers to correct as everything else goes are these nitrates. These nitrates, this is protein building versus protein breakdown. And this person, you can turn around and say, but that's perfect. That's part of the perfect equation. I'm doing great with my nitrates. The hell you are, because things are way too slow in your whole system. Your whole system is sluggish and you're not getting rid of your waste. You're holding it on. This person is auto-intoxicating. So you could turn around and say a series of colonics would help. Staying away from Himalayan and pink salt and sea salt would help. They need potassium. Normally I'd say eat avocados, but for potassium-rich foods, as long as you don't react to tomatoes, those tomatoes are really good in potassium. Everyone always thinks of bananas, but you'd have to eat about 10 a day, So you could turn around and go get a potassium-rich food list, or I would be putting potassium in this person. I would make sure they're not on Dolomite, that you're not taking magnesium, because magnesium is going to lower these. The question is what's driving this? You need Mincol, calcium phosphate, to drive this down. You said you're taking CMC. I don't know what it's doing based upon that should be going down. So you could take calcium lactate. You could take a lot of vitamin C, 5-6 grams of vitamin C a day. That might help your bowels to go. You should do some colonics, but there is something going on here that this is inconsistent with that.
They did comment and say that a lot of times it is a 4M. She often has 4 plus rather. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but when you have a 4 plus, I'd assume that ammonia level goes up too. But if you're so this thing 3/3 while your body's trying to push over here is basically saying that you're not transcribing food into potential energy, because that protein building capacity of making new cells, that has to go up. Green drink, drink a green drink every day. Romaine lettuce, broccoli, I don't care what it is. Get some chlorophyll, and do a tablespoon and 4 ounces of water and sip on it each morning. This person is sluggish and feeling sluggish. And I'd be surprised if you're not forgetful, incredibly forgetful, because you're going to see you don't have enough potassium. And so when you see numbers like 1/3 and stuff like that, you'll see brain tumors, but you typically see the oxygen levels really getting off with that. But I don't know if I would turn around and say, okay, to me, it kind of points like to either to the forehead, to a sinus issue. You could have mold exposure. You could have parasites by looking at this. You could have, do you have mold exposure? Because this points to the frontal sinuses. If you're breathing in something all the time and causing sinus irritation, there's something going on here. So this is where I turn around and look at more of a history, look at live blood, and say, okay, what's going on with this person? Because although you have a good potential for digestion, you're kind of drinking or eating the right foods other than too much salt somewhere. Your body is not transcribing that food into usable energy because it's going too slow. and you're not able to detoxify right. So there's something going on there where, I would give you potassium. I would have you do some colonics, and I would make sure I would probably go up on your vitamin C. I would do some type of sinus wash, maybe do a uh, nasal lavage with a neti pot every day, and use a tablespoon of colloidal silver with the distilled water and salt, and start flushing out those sinuses. But there's something going on up there. Let's see what we got here. Oh my God, people, you comment and I can't catch up with you. Fish, fish, fish. Yep, Pacific salmon. The only problem with North Atlantic salmon is a lot of it is farm raised, and farm raised salmon, they put a bunch of crap in it. Sorry about the mistake on conductivity. She has sinus issues. Yeah, I'm sure she does. The question is she got mold growing up in her sinuses? The question is there? I know I'd use a neti pot with some colloidal silver, and start breaking that. You might put 1 drop of grapefruit seed extract in that neti pot. Too much and it's going to burn. I've had people where we used a professional strength grapefruit seed extract recommendation based upon a normal grapefruit seed extract, and somebody put so many drops in there and they were just like screaming what it did to their sinuses, and I was like, oh my God. All right, that was my bag there. So also has digestion issues, so colonics maybe need. Yeah, I know she has digestion issues. She's got a 7.4 pH, but you got to go and vitamin C. You could do a vitamin C flush. You could go get a powdered vitamin C, C ascorbates that are roughly 5 grams of vitamin C per teaspoon, and do a teaspoon of vitamin C every 15 minutes until the bowels explode. It's called a vitamin C flush, and you get until you get diarrhea just to flush out the bowels, and then go back and see how the body responds after that. And see how many grams it takes to flush. If it takes her 20 to 30 grams of vitamin C to flush, then you've got oxidation issues. You're having breakdown. There's a lot going on. Yes, had some mold. Yeah, okay. You got mold growing probably in your sinuses. 95% of people who I've done show with Jill Christa on mold, and so those are mold numbers. And that stress on her body and those adrenal stress is depleting that potassium. Feed her potassium. Get potassium citrate. Take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 a day. Just start increasing. If your heart starts racing, decrease the amount of potassium, and adjust it. But you got to deal with that mold issue. You can't be exposed to mold. A daily netted pot with some colloidal silver, a little bit of grapefruit seed extract. Again, you're talking at least 6 months to get that to clear. Now, you guys, from a set of numbers, how do I know that? Now he's telling me she's got mold. Now he's telling me she's got sinus issues. People, all of you can know this. It's not hard. It is so easy to understand these patterns of what's going on. And by the way, Carol, if you're out there last week sharing your numbers, thank you. And I'm sorry that I was like, you need to drink your water, and what to do. You just got to find out what food you're eating that was driving those numbers up last week, because you got to stop eating the food allergies. You got to stop eating. When you see that, you got to just check your bricks every time you pee, people. And until you learn the pattern and see what foods spike it up versus what foods crash it, and how much water you need to drink, because you're going to find that not everybody needs half their body weight in ounces of water per day. That's a guideline. That's not set in stone. Beet tops are one of the highest in potassium. I love beet tops. I'll put beet tops in greens in my salads, but to eat a beet, oh my God, I hate beets.
What is wrong with you?
I have tried them in so many different ways. I've tried them pickled. I've tried them. I have tried beet. I will take, if I'm juicing, I'll put like a quarter of a beet in the juice, as long as I got some carrot juice or something to mask it. I can't I hate beets. I don't know why, but they are so good for you, particularly for the liver. Um, let's see. Thanks, Linda. I have a bed full of beetroot. Is this the same as beets? I don't think so. The guy that sent the minerals for Hybrix gardening told me the buildup process of the soil takes about 5 years. Yes, at least. I've been doing it for more than that, and I still have. I have one of my garden raised beds still just doesn't want to produce, and I don't know why. And I put the same stuff on it. I feel like I should just test that bed compared to the others, but to test every bed, oh my god, I have 8 beds. How many beds? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I got 9 beds, 10 with my herbs, and so to test each bed, I'm not putting that much money into it. I just need to learn to do it myself. You really nailed it pretty much. Well, I mean, that's what this does. I mean, I wrote an article. If you guys go to docmisak.com, docmisak.com, and look at the media. And you know what? The best way for you kind of to share people to come here is tell them to go there, and there's a place that they can sign up to 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 join our YouTube page. I wish, I guess I really ought to start an email page under Doc Misak to where you can sign up for an email list, and then maybe we can email people before the shows. That might be an option to let people know, hey, joining our YouTube show, join our email list so we can let you actually know we're going on, because other people aren't going to let that happen. So let's see. Where are you getting your minerals for your garden? Jack, well, most people go to fixmygarden.com because they work with International Agri Labs and John Frank. But what I've done is I went to Acres, ACRES, an Acres conference. And I'll tell you, anybody who's into gardening, go to an Acres conference. You'll see a bunch of Amish people there. It's basically the organic remineralized group that goes around saying, look, there are still people doing this. And so I get my testing done through Midwest Laboratories. And there's one other person that I was going to get my testing done, simply because they do the same test. They make their recommendations based upon the works of Abrams and Reams. And then what I do is, once I get the recommendations, I look at the products that I have, because you go to these Acres conferences, and these people, because they're dealing with agricultural people, they give you a pint-sized bottle or an 8 to 16 ounce bottle of these minerals. That when you're talking a garden of 200 square feet, you use a teaspoon to a gallon, and you spray it to get the amount of what you need. So I turn around and look at my recommendations, because they give you recommendations per acre. And then we calculate, okay, for my 250 square feet, this is what I need. And then I go and add it to a sprayer and figure it out based upon the products that I have. And then I go and put it on my garden. Now, if you go through Fix My Garden, they actually will, based on what John Frank tells you with International Agri Labs, they use fertilizers that have fillers and stuff in them, where you're getting a spreadable product that you just spread evenly over here. And it's really nice and well done for you. They give you, they don't give you, they charge you, but they'll sell you foliar sprays. They'll give you or sell you nutrient drenches, where you add things and you drench. I bought a conductivity meter. You can shove it in your soil and say, oh my God, my conductivity is down to 150. I need to do a nutrient drench and pick up my conductivity. So in reality, that's, it just gets, Hybrix gardening is great, but it's also could be a little bit of a pain, because, sometimes it's like, am I taking the fun out of gardening by doing all this measuring? Not always, but sometimes I need to, because I can say, okay, my garden needs something. I can test and know. Best time to call. Best time to call what? My office? Best time to call where? We'll have to talk about that one. My office, my office hours are posted. NDNR Mind Body Bioelectric. Hey, thank you for posting that, Doc Misak. The last article that I did was about a case study, and I really, if you go to docmisak.com and just read the articles that are there, people, the case study was just a standard aspect of looking at these numbers and knowing what to do. Notifications on Yahoo Mail is what reminds me. Okay, so you get notifications. Bat guano makes stuff very green. I don't know where to buy bat guano.
Yeah, it does. I use that in my garden.
Where are you gathering your bat guano? You have
a bats and buildings and around the farm.
Nice.
I'm lucky.
Nice. Okay.
That's a good tip. So, shouldn't tell everybody that.
Okay. Well, people, I hope that that's a good basis of where we're coming from. I'm glad that we got a set of numbers. Those of you who run numbers, run them. Bring them to the thing. I hope that me reading out those numbers are not like me turning around and saying, "Oh my God, your numbers are really bad, man." They are where they are. It gives you a place to start. Get rid of the mold. Get Jill Krista's book. Start taking some potassium. Take more vitamin C. Start flushing out your sinuses. Run another set of numbers in 2 weeks and let me know what's going on, and show me. Particularly if you get a neti pot, I think you'll see a difference. And so, but I didn't realize we have gone over on time again. And although Annie is having such a good time, and just, I got to let you talk more.
No, what do I have to say? You're teaching.
Disagree. You guys, if you guys hear Annie, she is passionate about things that are going on. And if you guys ever want to go into politics and go into talking about what's happening in the media and bring that into a show, that will really keep us, then we'll get censored. Not only censored, we'll get shut off of YouTube.
Right. Trying to avoid that. But I will say, worldwide, people are protesting this mask, everything. It's such a joy to see that people are actually standing up for their freedoms. It's hopefully coming to the U.S. soon. I think people are waking up. Here's hoping.
Well, I'm waking up to Snoopy and my coffee that I still am sipping on. And I'm hopefully going to have a good day, and that you do too. I thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that it was beneficial. Thumbs up, I hope. I hope everybody gives us the thumbs up and we can turn around. So we went down to 33. Oh, we had 6 people walk away. But I hope you give me 33 thumbs up there. I hope you guys share these messages. I hope you notify people that I'm going to be here next Saturday, and we'll be back. So until then, God bless you all. Take care, and we'll see you on the